Hello. I hope you had a great day. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for giving me some of your time. Now, if you've been following me this week, you know I'm doing a series this week of videos about Dr. Torsten Slok's U.S. Housing Outlook Report for March 2025. And I've been saying there's 5 in this series, but there's actually 6, so I apologize about that. Today is one of the shorter videos, so stay tuned. Today we're going to look at house prices, how low inventory and low unemployment is outweighing negative effects of higher mortgage rates. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about the U.S. House price model. We'll talk a little bit about limited housing availability, the median home sale prices. We'll talk about price inflation and owner's equivalent of rent, the OER. And so my hope is that you use this Outlook report for your everyday business. That it comprises 123 great, easy to understand, digestible charts. They're as current as can be. You can use them in your home buyer seminars. You can use them in lunch and learns. You can use them in presentations at real estate offices, or if you're out prospecting affinity bars. It's great data. I've used a lot of these slides when I've been meeting with builders. They love them. They don't have access to the same stuff. So if you put it in your arsenal, it'll put you that much more ahead. So let's look at today's charts. We have, as I said, home prices. Let's get through it. House price model: rising mortgage rates pushing home prices lower, yet low inventory and low unemployment is pushing home prices higher. You're seeing a forecast of home prices to end the year about 6% up. I don't really necessarily agree with that, quite frankly. But nevertheless, that's what the forecast is showing. Next, we have consumers' expectation of home inflation. You can see that in the last quarter or two, consumers think that home prices are going to fall. We'll see. I'm not sure about that, but that's their expectation. This is a very interesting chart. It's a disconnect between mortgage rates and home prices. You can see how home prices kind of go in correlation to interest rates. But because of the low housing inventory, home prices have stayed higher than they should be when rates are higher than normal. And you can see that's where the disconnect is. I think that's a really good chart right here. Next, median home sales price in the United States is $430,000. You can see the growth there. Now, there's an argument whether median is the right number to use, but nevertheless, it's directionally gives us information. Home price inflation moving sideways across price tiers. I love this chart. What this chart says is that, appreciation isn't happening uniform across the entire market. If you look at this, that gray line is low and medium price tier. You see how it's appreciating at 5%, where if you look at the high price tier, it's much lower. And so it's very important to look at what the price is. I know Mike Simonson talks about this at Altus all the time. It also is important geographically. But you can see that home price or rent ratios are way above the 2006 levels. That is what's the rent have to be multiplied to buy a house is the equation there. Median sales price well above last year's level. You can see here's a median price well above where we've been in the previous years. We kind of know that. Now, is there a rebound coming in housing inflation? You can see that, housing inflation was dropping, and now we're starting to see it turn around. That foretells poorly for this higher for longer interest rates. We don't want to see housing costs going up. The next is OER, owner's equivalent. You can see it was dropping there at the end of 23 and into 24, but now it's starting to flatten out. And that's kind of scary because we could very conceivably see, OER and housing costs starting to push up inflation. We have seen the last 2 readings. That doesn't help us if we're rooting for lower interest rates. Here's the 100 largest cities with share of cities positive rent growth at 54%. You can check this out if you want. Home price inflation is solid because of low inventory and homes for sale. We already know that. This just shows it by region in case you're curious. This is median price by county. You can get into this and check it out if you like. This is really interesting, I thought. 30% of homes selling above their list price. So 1 in 3 houses sell above list price. It is still a seller's market. I know we're starting to migrate more towards an equal market, and maybe even in some markets we're getting to a buyer's market. But overall, across this country, it's still a seller's market. So that is, there you go. That is the slides for today. We went through what's affecting housing prices, and we definitely saw quite a bit of influences. We're a little worried about inflation sneaking back in there, but all I can do is, man, I really recommend checking these. First, following Torsten, subscribe to his daily newsletter, the Daily Spark. Is fantastic. Check out his monthly reports. He has one on housing. He has one on inflation. He has a third one. He's widely quoted across, economic reporters, economic journals. I really like him. I hope you're getting a lot out of this week. I appreciate you checking it out. We got 2 more to go. Stick with me. Hope you have a great week. Thanks. Bye.